structural and staff deficiencies within the agency affected expansion, thereby restricting business expansion. However, with the deregulation of the sector, which brought in many private players, business is now enhanced and promoted. Meanwhile, in recent time, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed 3 executive orders, including the suspension of major tax measures, in a bid to address concerns raised by manufacturers and other stakeholders regarding unwholesome tax policies. The move comes as a response to the need for clarity and adequate notice for tax adjustments as specified in the 2017 National Tax Policy. Special Advisor to the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Mr. Dele Alake, who made the announcement at the Presidential Villa in Abuja last Thursday, said President Tinubu issued, among others, an order suspending the 5% excise tax on telecommunication services, as well as the excise duties, escalation on locally manufactured products. On this edition of Business and Economy, Public Affairs Analyst Dr. Alex Mayanga is my guest and will be joining us after the business news to analyze the topic, deregulation of the telecom sector, key to national development. We'll be back shortly. Investors on the nation's capital market traded in a turnover of 799.8 million stocks last week, valued at 29.14 billion naira in 14,194 deals. At the close of the last session, McNichols, John Holt, and Corn Oil appreciated by 10% each. However, Living Trust led the decliners with a loss of 10%, followed by Cornerstone Insurance and Courtville Business Solutions, depreciating with 7.69% and 4.17%. In volume terms, the Financial Services Index dominated the general activity level with 480 million stocks, while the utilities industry and the Information and Communications Technology (ICT) contributed 126.9 million stocks and 54.1 million stocks in that order. During the week, All-Share Index and market capitalization of listed equities improved by 0.55% to close on a high of 54,646 units and 29.9 trillion naira. And on the exchange rate, the naira improved against the dollar on the parallel market by 0.65% to sell for 760 naira to the dollar, 900 naira to the pound sterling, and 760 naira to the euro. Ile Emeje, ASO Television News. Our guest, a public affairs analyst, Dr. Mayanga, Alex Mayanga, is already in our studio to take a look at the topic. Doctor, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and welcome viewers.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do you find the situation in Nigeria, especially with a new government in place, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led federal government?
Well, thank you. First of all, let me congratulate our president for being appointed as the chairman of ECOWAS.
Yeah.
That is another feather in Nigerian's cap.
Yeah.
So I want to use this very rare privilege to congratulate him.
All right.
Yes. So, of course, Nigeria, anything that has to do with hope is life. And there's nothing like hope. And he said in psychology that a change is as good as a rest. So we have a change of government.
So it's as good as having...
Yes, psychological rest as it is.
Okay.
So there's no way, whatever tension there was in the previous administration, with the new government, there's psychological ease for Nigerians, with high expectation anyway.
All right.
So, yes.
So with high expectation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's go into business.
Yeah.
Yeah, from my introduction, you heard me say that NITEL was in operation from the early 60s until the Obasanjo regime, when the GSM came to being with far below 1 million lines. But 10 years into the operation of the GSM, we had several millions of lines rolled out. What do you think has happened? Who's responsible for this?
Yeah, it's okay. You know, first of all, I want to take us back to the historical perspective of even the telecommunication issue. Yeah. At 1960, Nigeria had a population of 45 million people. Okay. And a report or research has shown that in that population, it was only one telephone to 2,600 people. So you can imagine. So when we got up to 2005, before you say Jack Robinson, at 9 million subscribers were enrolled. And document from NCC says that by December 2022, we have virtually over 222 million subscribers. Wow. And with 116% of the population. Okay. So you discover that many Nigerians have subscribed to that technology. And of course, Nigeria cannot be left behind in the world, you know, in terms of information technology. And so what I would say is that when there's, you know, public-private, you know, participation, you can, you know, see acceleration of progress and development for the country. So if you ask me what is responsible, I will say that yes, it's because of the deregulation. The deregulation. You know, yes, of that sector of the economy. Okay. And that's what has contributed tremendously, you know, to the growth, you know, of telecommunication in the country. Okay, I can remember remotely. I think there was a time I was in Lisbon, and amongst us, I think before the GSM was introduced, amongst us, only one person had a Turaya. And so we were, so 090, I can't remember the number. So we were borrowing, you know, to call our families. And when you call your family and they didn't pick, oh, you'll be so sad because you will not see that you won't get that opportunity again. And so that's how it is. But now the market is open. Great, you know, it has opened great opportunities for employment, even development. Okay. There are so many things we'll say about it. Right. But following your question is because of the regulation of the sector.
I remember from what you said now, I remember then when I was somewhere, I can't remember, I can't vividly calculate where I was, but I just remember that during that time, I had to follow somebody to where we had one line in the whole of the local governments around my area, and do you know what they were doing? In short, coming to the place, it was under a big tree where it was assumed that that was the only place you could get network. And for days, people may have to sleep over for some days to get across by calling your friends and relations on that one telephone line. And that's right. It might take you a whole day. That's it might be 2 days or 3 days. And honestly, maybe it's because of the deregulation. Now that we have many players in the industry, just like you said, can we say many players in the industry is responsible for the many lines that we have, a lot of lines, thousands of lines that we have been rolled out this season.
Thank you. It will amaze you that this technology was in use in Ghana even before Nigeria.
Was it the same experience?
What do you mean in the same experience?
When it was used in Ghana, you said it was used in Ghana before Nigeria. Did they have the same experience we went through before the advent of the GSM? Yeah,
naturally it will be like that at the onset of everything. At the onset, there may be some challenges. But what I'm saying in essence is that this technology had come to Ghana. Ghana was already using it before Nigeria, perhaps reluctantly, accepted this technology. But we have seen the advantage or the advantages of this technology in the country.
Okay. From the above, can we also say that this is a confirmation of the fact that government involvement in business in many instances is distorted by poor performance or just poor operations, so to say? Can we say so? Can I be right to say so?
You see, like when I talk elsewhere,
yeah.
I always say that government or governance itself is business.
Governance itself is business?
Governance itself is business.
How?
It's business in the sense that there must be profit. What is the profit? The profit is the development of the people.
The infrastructure?
The infrastructure, education, health is business. Let no one tell us that government has no business in business. Yes. Governance itself is business. And until we take governance as business, we will not get results. I expect, a minister to give me profit for that position he's occupying. Okay. For the pay he's being paid, he should give us results. Okay. Even the president, even Mr. President, should give us results for all the luxury he enjoys on behalf of the citizen.
Okay.
Yes, so governance is business. Sorry, governance is business, ma.
Okay.
It is business.
If we say that governance is business in quotes, to give us profit, are we also saying that some public goods which are supposedly supposed to be like free or subsidized should be taken off in place of making profit? Because when you say governance is business and giving profit, a lot of people may be tempted to believe that, oh, this man has come to advise government to begin to task, to begin to place profits on everything, particularly those things that we ought to enjoy as public goods.
Thank you. Let me break it down.
Yeah.
It's an abstract concept. An abstract concept in the sense that even you that is employed here, you are being paid. So your performance here will, kind of enhance the image of this television and radio.
Sure.
You get a point?
Yeah.
And when you do that, you educate the people. You inform the people. And when you do that, there is profit. People will change from their bad habits. Those who needed help will be giving help. Okay. Those who needed encouragement will be giving encouragement. So governance, what I mean is that, okay, government has government itself, or governance is business. Doesn't mean that, yes, you must bring profit home in terms of liquid cash. But I'm saying that your performance, the outcomes of your performance is the gain that you have brought to the citizenry. Okay. That's what it means.
In other words, you use an example of my employment with ASO Radio and Television Services, and I'm employed to provide services as one of the things we are doing now.
That's right.
Government, in order to bring profit to government, I should be seen to live up to expectation.
Very correct.
Be able to deliver according to specifications.
Very correct.
That is the profit that you mean. Okay. Recently, we all noticed and we have seen that the executive order signed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu suspending the 5% excise tax on telecommunication services as well as excise duties escalation on locally manufactured goods does not come to many as a surprise. It didn't come to many Nigerians as a surprise. And this is because the telecom sector had been turbulent and efforts being made to stabilize it has not yielded optimum results. In your opinion, what led to the increase of the tax in the first place? And why now are we suspending it?
Yeah, naturally, you remember that this act was signed by the former president at the eve of his departure. Part of this was what they call in the Financial Act 2023. That's what he signed before he left. And of course, I'm sure our president, having come to power and having announced the removal of a subsidy,
fuel subsidy,
and the Nigerians are groaning under that pain. I'm sure it is, a strategy, a political strategy to lessen, the tax burden of Nigeria. Nobody in his right senses, after removal of the subsidy, you load the citizenry again with other taxes. I don't think it's politically wise. So, and of course, it's a suspension. It's not that that tax will not be, it's not saying that the Nigerians will not pay that tax.
But suspending for now.
Yeah, to me, it's a political strategy.
You think so?
Yes, it's a political strategy to ease, and of course to also give, like his special advisor said, it will give opportunity, therefore, to discuss with the stakeholders.
Okay.
Yes, it will give opportunity. It brings a breather, so to say, to the society. And of course, it will now afford those who are stakeholders in that sector of the economy to discuss, with, the authority or the power that be in the country.
Okay, looking at why increasing the tax in the first place, how would you respond to a school of thought by a certain quarter of Nigerians that have said that the increase was made in order to generate a lot of revenue towards the cancellation of settlement of our debt burden? How would you react to that?
Like a drowning man, you look for even the smallest stick on the river to hold. The country is burdened with loan. And of course, they have looked here and there. There is no way to, to stop this habit of getting a loan. So the only option, therefore, is to tax, the people. And of course, not only taxing the people, it's also, they will even increase the tax net. So that as many organizations as possible will be brought into the tax net to kind of help, build the resources of government. So it's not far from that. Okay. It's not far from it, because we are owing, and how do you pay? Okay. So the next thing is to look elsewhere, here and there.
Okay. Yeah. And now that it has been suspended, that you have said that, in your opinion, it is pending. Just like the president wants to maybe have meetings with stakeholders in the industry. Are we expecting the resurface of this increase, so to say, in the near future? In your opinion?
In the near future, I'm expecting that. Okay. I'm expecting that because they would want to see how they can, enhance the resources of government. It may not be that 5%. It may be negotiated down. Okay. Maybe to 2%. Okay. It depends on those who are in that field, and of Nigerians too. It depends on them. If they want to task, the call you make, and instead of maybe 10 kobo, it will take to be taken to 3 kobo. Okay. It can further be negotiated perhaps into 2 kobo or something like that. But what we are saying essentially is that the citizenry must pay tax. But our fears is, when you pay the tax, will the services be rendered? Would you get commensurate, service?
Okay, well, the question to even ask at this point is, what impact this telecommunication tax, what impact do you think it will have? This suspension of the telecom tax, what impact will this have on businesses and on Nigerians in general? Will it have any impact on us?
No, for meanwhile, as now that is suspended, so Nigeria will have a breather meanwhile, as it's suspended. Those in that industry will still have a breather. So for the time that the suspension will last, they'll have a breather, within that sector. And even we that are their clients, that use, their facility, as it were, will also have a breather. So you can imagine an addition of 5% tax on what you're already enjoying or using, if it is kept at bay. Meanwhile, you also have a breather. So we are still seeing how we'll get through the removal of the oil subsidy by what we are paying in terms of, energy. You get the point. So within this period, I think it's okay. But I'm thinking that at the point of negotiation, the government should also see that before they come to begin to tax the people, the more, they should make sure that it will not lead to something that will be, unpalatable for the country.
Okay, now that globally, if you look at the global economy, you agree with me that there are some economic downturns across nations of the world. Now that in Nigeria, this tax has been suspended for now, do you think this will have effect on employment and unemployment, as well as the inflation rate, which has always been on a persistent increase for some months now?
Yeah, the Nigerians are even taxed the more, even through inflation. President Buhari came, when he came, I think he came, the inflation rate that time was 10%. Before he left, it's 22%. So even the tax of the inflation is enough burden on Nigerians. That alone is enough burden on the country. And so Nigeria is not the only country. What we want to tell the government is to be creative. There are so many people, so many companies, so many organizations that are not paying tax. I think they should delve into that much more, than increasing taxes. So many that are not paying tax to government. So the government should look inward. Their agencies and organizations should be creative, should devise, technological means, to bring those into the, tax net, so that it is not much of taxing people the more, but it's much of collecting those taxes from those who are supposed to pay tax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, considering the performance of the telecom sector in Nigeria, how do you think the sector is faring in terms of optimality in delivery?
Yeah, I think they are trying.
Okay.
I think they are trying. With the hindsight of where we are coming from.
Yeah.
And so I think they are doing very well, as I would want to assess them, but they can still do more.
Okay.
Not quite when you call, they say somebody you just spoke to now, they say the person is no more available. Somebody you just spoke to, he didn't pick your call, or he picked, but something happened. And they also should look at the issue of glitches. So there are plenty of it. So they should take a look at that.
But again, the subscribers have come up with one complaint or the other. At times you make a call, like you said, you are calling somebody, the person is not picking, yet your money is being deducted, and so many other issues surrounding the operation of the various networks.
I think with time, that will be taken care of, because it's a competitive area.
Okay.
For instance, if I have your line, you're an organization that gave me the line. If I discover that yours is not performing very well, I will change my line.
To another network?
To another network, the one that is performing. Of course, that is what led, to the number of subscribers that we have today.
Okay, when compared to the
days. Yes, because there is competition.
Okay.
Yes, it's competition. So in an economy where there is competition, you are going to get the best.
All right. In an economy where there is competition, we are going to get the best. We'll take a quick break now and we'll be back. Stay with us.
Sir, can you please give us the permission to search you? You can go.
Is this a movie? If it happen.
abeg carry am go station. When our oga come, you come meet am for there.
Hey, Mr. Man, I cannot do that.
Tell your guy to come to our station when he returns.
Am I in a movie? If it happen,
Mama, please. Mama, please.
Thank God you're here. Do the needful.
Mama, please, just 3 weeks
Madam,
now.
why did you invite us to come help chase your tenant now?
This is a civil matter now.
Is this a movie? If it happen,
If we follow
The new police law.
Welcome back. Our guest, Dr. Alex Mayanga, a public affairs analyst, is still here, and we are making an analysis of the deregulation of the Nigerian telecommunications sector to national development. Doctor, before we went on the break, we were trying to look at some issues raised by subscribers of some of these networks, and for the benefits of those that are following us on the program, what will be your advice to them in terms of making use of this suspension of this tax to create employment, wealth creation, other opportunities in order to reduce unemployment, as well as improving our living standard in the country? You know that we have a lot of unemployed youths as we speak, though it's a global issue, but we are limiting it to our specification in Nigeria. How do you think that a young unemployed graduate or an unemployed person can take advantage of this suspension of 5% tax reduction from what it used to be? What would be your advice to them?
Yeah, well, within this window,
Yeah.
and telecommunication, like we're talking about, is not just only GSM.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the internet is there. It might interest you that only about 154 million Nigerians have access to the internet, and we needed that to go more.
Okay.
It had to go deeper into. So with the internet, people are already talking about AI, artificial intelligence. So, and all manner of things can be done there, and I think Nigerians are doing very well.
Yeah.
So our software engineers, they have quite a lot to do. For instance, in education, a lot needed to be done in that area.
Okay.
You know, for education, for teaching and learning, using the internet, using AI and all manner of things. And so there's quite a lot. And of course, like I said earlier, this window is just, I think if things go by what is the schedule, by 1st September, they say it's supposed to have the window is supposed to have elapsed.
You think so?
Well, that's what it's supposed to be. You know why? The issue is that why did the government even do this? They did it because President Buhari signed that act, you know, or that bill into an act on the eve of his going. And the tax policy regulation says that, I think that one of 2017, says that you must give 3 months window to operators, to businesses, about that, okay, look, at this period, we are going to increase tax. That 3 months was not given. And it's also on that basis that the federal government suspended this, so that they can meet even the 3 months. So having noted that, there's quite a lot to do, you know, with the internet, with telecommunication, quite a lot. Even in medicine, quite a lot.
Medicine?
Yes. So all manner of things can be done, you know, in education, in medicine, in technology. You know, we people have gone virtually, we're going very soft, virtual, in everything virtually, as it were. You needed perhaps not to see your doctor. He can virtually recommend, he can virtually study you. Online, and know what is the problem. Rather than you wasting fuel to go there.
Okay.
As a teacher, I can teach my learners
Online.
from online. So, and of course, when you put this together, it saves quite a lot of cost. You know, time and money will be saved. That is the essence of technology.
But some persons have also raised some concerns on technology, that is given the cost of technology and the availability of the network, internet services, especially at the grassroots level. What do you think the government should do?
That's the function of Nigerian Communication Commission.
Okay.
Those guys in charge of that area should sit up. And so that we get value for our money. So if you buy your card, your recharge card, you should get value for up to 100% of it. Okay. So those high places in National Communication Commission, should live up to their bidding, should live up to their pay. And that's why I said governance is business.
Governance is business?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's business now.
Now that the government, so many regimes that have come and gone, and even the present one, are concerned with financial inclusion, and financial inclusion has to do with those at the grassroots. What do you think the NCC, who are concerned with communication, what do you think they should do in particular to get these people at the grassroots on financial inclusion through communication networks?
I don't know what you mean exactly, because those in NCC, it's not, they are supposed to be monitors. They are supposed to carry out accreditation, registration, and monitor the performance of these providers.
Yeah.
I think that's their function, their role. And of course, it's only when you deploy what the providers have given to you into the rural area, as it were. For instance, you want to call your mother now. When you call your mother at the rural area, in the village, and you discover that she's sound and fine, over here you are psychologically healed. So you don't have any tension over your parents at home.
Yeah.
And of course, the business of the GSM or the phone that we use, there are quite a lot that you can learn from it. So those people that have this facility, there are so many pieces and bits of information that they will learn from what they have in their hand.
You know that at the city center or in urban places like in Abuja, Lagos, Kano, and other city centers across the country, we don't have so much problem like those are the rural areas. For example, you may not believe that there are still some villages that are yet to access internet, and other telecommunications products. That is the area I'm asking. How else do you think either the government or the NCC can facilitate their monitoring and evaluation in order to carry all of these people?
Yeah, I think there was what they used to call rural telephony. Rural telephony in the sense that I think, there was some time they were putting pipes, everywhere.
Okay.
You see them digging and putting pipes.
Yeah.
It's an expectation that it was to get this thing we're talking about to the rural areas. So we don't know. Those in the communication system should be able to answer that, to tell us how far about the rural telephony that I think they were talking about some time ago. It is needed. That's why I said, along with the GSM, something we were talking about, the internet penetration should go down to the grassroots. So where there are no masts, NCCE should facilitate it along with the providers to go into the rural area. But I'm thinking that with time, it will get down there.
Okay.
Yes.
If we may have to appraise the telecom sector in Nigeria, vis-a-vis to their contribution to the growth of the economy, how would you rate them?
If you look at the telecom industry and you compare that with other aspects of maybe the manufacturing industry, I think this ones has the telecom industry has speedily, enhanced the economic activity in the country. Nobody can doubt that.
Okay.
For instance, you can stay in your house and do business. You need not go to get to the street. You can stay in your house now and order for a consignment.
Okay.
Now look at what those who are going around with bike. They are delivering food now. And that sprang up via COVID-19, where people were locked in.
COVID.
Yeah, so that creativity came. And it's a booming something. As you are here in the office, you can order for your meal and it will be delivered.
Okay.
So that is the kind of thing. And of course, you are using the GSM to call your provider or whoever is supplying your goods. So that is the essence of those things. So traveling is minimized. The evil, the danger on the road is minimized. So these are some, this contribution is not something you can quantify like block, but it's there.
Okay, now, my last question to you as we round off is, assuming that you find yourself in a top appointment within the sector, what will you do differently to make the sector more people and business friendly?
When I read that, when I saw that, no, I'm not fit.
You are not fit?
No, I'm
How?
not fit because I am not studious, I'm not knowledgeable in telecommunication.
Okay.
So if I'm not knowledgeable in telecommunication, then you bring me as a minister. You made me a stooge. Those who are technicians, those who study that area, if care is not taken, if I'm not witty enough, they will manipulate me. And that is the bane. That is the bane of appointments in this country. And it gives me opportunity to advise Mr. President.
I was coming to ask of that.
Right.
Now that, especially now that the president, we are all waiting for the ministerial
he
list.
should look for those who are knowledgeable in that area. It shouldn't be political appointment. That's what has failed us. We have witnessed some ministers declaring openly that, look, this area you have put me, I do not know anything about our area. We have heard that. So he comes there as a dummy, and he can be manipulated by those who are knowledgeable in that area. And in the end, he will give you bad report. So it is an opportunity for Mr. President, to appoint those who are knowledgeable in that field. Let them go to that field. For instance, what is a lawyer doing in the Ministry of Education?
I don't know.
Yeah. So these are the questions. What is he doing there?
Maybe he has education background.
No.
Or training
We have
or
known
skills.
those. We have seen those who are. The former Minister of Education said that, look, this area, he is used to write on education very thoroughly on education.
Okay.
But he was not an educationist. He was not. And many people that have come to, for instance, using Minister of Education, are not knowledgeable, are not educationists. So if they bring a policy that has to affect the child's psychology, they may not know it.
So what should the government do
The
with this
government
task?
should put round peg
in
round
holes?
holes. If you want to use a square peg, use it. Square peg in square holes. Let's experiment that, ma.
Okay.
Yes.
For example, you are saying that in the Ministry of this Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC,
Yes.
if somebody that maybe has a background in education, in health, and such people should not be appointed to that position.
No.
Okay.
No, they should look for those who read telecommunication, who read even mass communication.
Technology.
Anything that has to do with that.
Okay.
Let them. There are those who read physics. Those guys can go there.
Okay. You know, one thing that has also motivated some appointments in the past, and I don't know if it's going to play out in this government, has been political interest.
Yes.
What will you say about that?
That is what we are saying. If you use entirely political interest, you know, to do your appointment,
Yeah.
and then it is the normal case of a square peg in a round hole.
So how do you think that the people in position of power will settle their political allies?
They can give them board appointments, but not critical positions.
Okay. Or in your last word,
Yes.
when round pegs are put in round holes, what are we supposed to expect in Nigeria, especially on the economy, as we wind up?
Yeah, if you put a round a square peg in round holes, yeah, the economy will not work.
Okay.
The economy will not work. So we should put those that are knowledgeable in their various fields.
All right.
Yes.
We should put those that are knowledgeable in their various fields so that we can have a buoyant economy. That's according to Dr. Alex Mayanga. And with the suggestions, we have come to the end of today's program of Business and Economy. The guest we have been speaking with is a public affairs analyst, Dr. Alex Mayanga. Dr. Alex is also a lecturer and a linguist.
Yes, I'm a linguist.
Okay. Doctor, we want to thank you for honoring our invitation on this fresh edition of Business and
Thank
Economy.
you very much.
All
Thank
right.
you for inviting
And to
me.
you, our esteemed viewers and listeners out there, we sincerely appreciate you for branching off. Have a great week ahead.